me. He had even reneged on his challenge against Kyle for Kelsey, telling my brother there was no way he could do that after he'd smelled me. My now sap of a brother thought it was pretty romantic and actually gave him clemency in Westin territory, and put him up in Kelsey's old cottage on the edge of town after she'd moved in with Kyle. I couldn't even run through my favorite woods anymore for fear of running into him. My theory was that there had to be more than just his smell, but I knew if I saw his eyes, I'd be a goner. I had heard so many amazing, sigh-inducing stories of true mates. Not everyone was lucky enough to find theirs, and in my head, I knew he was the only man for me. But I couldn't cave to that primal urge to reach out to him, so avoidance it had to be. My alarm sounded again, interrupting my thoughts. I turned it off instead of hitting the snooze button again, and reluctantly got up, pulled on my robe, and headed for the bathroom. 4 a.m. That was my new routine. Up at 4 meant in the office by 5, where I could hide out with little to no chance of crossing paths with him. I brought my lunch and ate in my office alone every day. It was what I needed to do to survive. I knew my family was worried sick about me. Some days I even agreed they should be. It had become almost a sick obsession. Avoid Patrick O'Connell at all costs. The alternative made me physically ill. Not him, not meeting him, but I knew from everything I'd compulsively found out about him these past few months that I'd likely fall head over heels for him. It wasn't that scared me, exactly. It was the challenges. It was the thought of losing him. I'd rather just not have him at all. I was 25 years old. I was a strong, independent woman. I was a wolf shifter from one of the strongest bloodlines in shifter history. I didn't need a man. I didn't need a mate, not even a true mate, and I certainly did not need Patrick O'Connell. I grabbed a strawberry Pop-Tart from the pantry on my way out, trying to be quiet and not wake anyone. I was not a morning person, but I guess you had to do what you had to do. At 5:01, I unlocked the door to my office and sighed in relief at the safety I now associated with the room. The Westin Foundation was a private company used to legally and gainfully employ wolf shifters and keep up appearances of a normal community in the eyes of the humans. It didn't hurt that it was extremely profitable and gave the Westin pack a much plusher living than any other pack. I had also recently been promoted to VP of Human Resources, and I loved my job. Part of what I loved most was the interactions with people. I was very much a people person, but lately my focus was on paperwork, and it hadn't gone unnoticed. I was asked if anything was wrong or if I wanted to talk about it on a daily basis. They meant well, but I could never confess what a coward I was. Kyle had even called me in for 2 disciplinary chats, formally on my record. I still couldn't believe it. Who was I? I wasn't sure I even knew anymore. It had been a quiet morning, but by lunchtime I was fighting a massive headache and considered going home. A knock on my door sounded, making the pain worsen. I considered ignoring it, but the banging just continued. "What?" I snapped, opening the door. "Is that any way to welcome your sisters?" Lily, my little sister, asked, with Kelsey in tow. "Sorry. Headache. This really isn't a good time." I tried to close the door, but she just stuck her foot in the way, and I knew they weren't going to leave peaceably. "What?" I asked a little snappier than I meant, as they barged past me. "Please, come on in," I said under my breath, and not in a polite way. "Don't mind if we do," Lily said, as Kelsey fished out an aspirin from her purse and handed it to me. "Thanks," I said, genuinely feeling like a tool for taking out my frustrations on them. "Sit down," Kelsey said, motioning to the sofa in a corner of the room. Something told me she meant business, and that I wasn't going to like it. "Shall I start, or you?" she asked my sister. "Oh, I got this," Lily said with a wicked grin. "Elise, it's been over 2 months of the sulking, hiding, hermit crap. We've tried to be under..."